A good day to all of you. Myself, Dr. Sindhil Kumran, Assistant Professor from the Department of Education Technology, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, Chennai. Now, we are going to discuss about e-resources and open educational resources. Before entering into the topic, let us see the learning objectives pertaining to the topic. After the completion of this module, you will be able to define e-resources and open educational resources. You will be able to understand the uses of e-resources and open educational resources. You will be able to categorize the different types of e-resources. You will be able to classify the sources of e-resources. You will be able to create OERs suitable for teaching and learning. You will be able to share OERs for the public access. What do you mean by resources? The term resources refers to all the materials which are available in the environment which are technologically accessible, culturally sustainable, which helps us to satisfy our needs and wants. The term e-resources refers to all the products which a library provides through a computer networking system. These electronic resources are also known as online information resources, which covers the bibliographic databases, electronic reference books, search engines for both full text and the digital collections of data. E-resources is also known as an electronic resources, which is the information, usually a file, which can be stored usually in the form of electrical signal but not necessary on a computer. What are the characteristics of e-resources? These are some of the important characteristics of e-resources. The first one is e-resources can be used by many users at the same time simultaneously. The next characteristic is the e-resources can be published more quickly rather than the paper publications. E-resources includes the multimedia images and the graphics also. It enables its users to interact with each other for exchange of ideas through online. It can be searched easily and quickly by the users. The data can be stored in a huge amount. It can be guided to the document by providing a single link. What are the types of e-resources? There are two types of e-resources. One is primary e-resources and the next one is the secondary e-resources. The list has been displayed here. The e-journals, e-books, e-databases, e-magazines or serials, e-dissertations and theses, e-newspapers, e-patents and e-standards. These comes under the primary e-resources. Whereas e-course material, indexing and abstracting databases, e-reference databases comes under the secondary e-resources. What are the sources of e-resources for the better teaching and learning process? The list has been showed here. The first one is the e-books, the next one is e-journal, the next is e-mail, e-library, e-forum, e-learning in case of both lessons or courses, e-shops, e-dictionaries, mobile XMS or MMS. The last one is the search engines and meta search engines. The main advantages of e-resources is multi-access. It can be used by any persons anywhere in the world. The speed is the next advantage of e-resources. The speed is rather than the collection of data is very quick and speedy. And the function of using e-resources is very easy. and the contents can be collected anywhere and the mobility of e-resources is easy. That is, sharing of e-resources from one place to other place is very easy and very quick. It saves the physical space. It is very convenient for the users, and the last advantage is it saves the time and energy. These are some of the disadvantages of e-resources. That is, while reading resources through computer screen is difficult. The computer monitor used by the users is limited. We need internet access for collecting e-resources. There may be some copyright issues while downloading the e-resources. The cost of e-resources is very high. And the last disadvantage is the resources available in the regional languages is very less. Then the next topic, the learning objectives. In the earlier days, learning objectives is nothing but the audio visual aids which are used in the regular classroom teaching. Later, reusable learning objectives, that is RLO, came into existence. For example, the PowerPoint presentation prepared by a teacher can be made available very easily. This will help the other teachers can reuse those presentation in their regular classroom at free of cost. Then what is RLO? That is reusable learning objectives and open educational resources. The term reusable learning objects can be adapted and reused, but there is some legal and copyright issues in reusable learning objectives. Whereas in case of open educational resources, these educational resources which are available on the internet or online in a public domain is known as open educational resources, that is OER. OER, that is open educational resources, are learning, teaching and research materials which is of any format and medium that resides in the public domain or under copyright that have been released under an open license that permits no cost access. It can be reused, it can be reused as a repurpose, it can be adapted very easily and it can be redistributed to others by others. According to UNESCO, open educational resources are any type of resources or educational materials that are available in the public domain or introduced with an open license. The main nature of these open materials means that anyone can legally and freely copy it. It can be used and it can be adapted by them and they can reshare the OERs. OERs range from textbooks to curricula, syllabi, lecture notes, assignments, tests, projects, audio, video and animation. The main example for OERs is MOOC, that is Massive Open Online Course. What are the legal permissions which to be used to use OERs? First one is retain, the next one is reuse, the third one is revise, fourth one is remix and the last one is redistribute. This is known as 5 R's of legal permissions to use OERs. What are the types of OER? There are 4 types of OERs. The first one is license attached OER. The next one is media based OER in which image and video will be available. The next one is the quality of OER. The video which is to be done by the users should be high or low quality. The last one is the authorship style, that is individual OER or a group of OERs. While considering the license attached OER, there are two types, that is copyright protected and the next one is CCL, that is Creative Commons license. In Creative Commons license, there are 6 attributions. The first one is attribution, which is referred as CC BY, Common License by attribution. Attribution share alike is denoted as CC BY SA, that is share alike. Attribution non-derivatives is represented as CC BY non-derivatives is represented as ND. Then attribution non-commercial is denoted as CC BY NC. Attribution non-commercial share alike is denoted as CC BY NC SA. Attribution non-commercial non-derivative is CC BY NC ND. The last license attached OER is the public domain. The picture represents this, how and what are the limitations in using this common license. The first one is the copyright, C crossed copyright, that is we can copy and publish, you can use it through commercial, you can modify and adapt it, you can change the license if it is a resources in public domain. Whereas the resources which is attached as CC BY can be copied and published, it can be attributed, it can be used commercially, you can modify and adapt it, you can change the license also. Whereas CC BY SA, you can copy and publish, you can attribution required, you can use it as commercially, you can modify and adapt, but you cannot change the license. You should be share as it is. Whereas in case of CC BY ND non-derivative, you can copy, publish, attribution should be required, it can be commercially used, but it should not modify and it should be adapted. The license can be changed in case of non-derivative attribution common like Creative Commons. Whereas in case of CC BY NC, you cannot use the open resources for the commercial purpose, whereas you can use copy it and publish, attribution, you can modify it and you can change the license of it. While considering CC BY NC SA, you cannot use it commercially and you should share as it is. There should not be any change in licenses. Whereas in case of CC BY NC and ND, the OERs or Creative Commons can be used as copy and publish and you can attribute it, but you should not use it for commercial purpose and you should not modify or adapt as it is. You can change the license of CC BY NC ND. What are the ways of sharing OERs? These are some of the resources can be shared through OERs. The first one is own website. The next institutional website. The third one is OER repositories. The fourth one is build online. The last one is social media networks. Through these sources, you can share your OERs. What are the advantages of OER? The first one is it's of very low cost. The material is very quality. It can be accessible to all the age groups. You can share it and you can adapt it very easily. Promotion of independent and collaborative learning environment is very easy and it can be shared public. What are the limitations of OER? There might be some policy issues while sharing these OERs. There might be some copyright issues. The OERs somehow have poor quality and validity. The OER shared by the expert is very less, that is, willingness of expert is very limited. There might be some technical glitches. These are some of the limitations of OER. Next, at last, we are come to the conclusion part. That is, in this digital era, the students are more access to the digital services for their regular learning and also for their learning development. So, the teachers have to give more inputs in their regular classroom teaching rather than the already printed textbooks. Yes, he has to share more information to the students so that the students can understand many useful things in their classroom rather than these kind of textbooks available already. The teacher nowadays uses digital devices for enriching the students' knowledge, and also the method of teaching for a particular content or a topic is a very easy and simple way so as to make the students to comprehend very easily. These are some of the references which I have been collected for the topic open educational resources.